Hi, mate. Welcome to Petty Talks TV. This is your family's talk show about pets, where nothing is too petty for us to talk about when it comes to your pets. So come join a community of pet lovers and allow us to entertain you and hopefully even inspire you. Today's topic is about our friend Melissa Smith in My Dog Marty and Me. Melissa Smith is coping with myalgic encephalitis, and because of her dog, she's been able to move on and even put up a business. So, before we dive into that, we're live on Facebook and YouTube on the first and third Saturday of the month, 5 o'clock thereabouts, Philippine time. We're also on Instagram. If you're watching this on a replay, just go ahead and move the video forward. My name is Tita Me, shortcut for Tita Meow, because I love cats, but obviously we talk about other animals and issues as well. And if you've missed that, today's topic is My Dog Marty and Me, where we have as a guest straight from the UK, live from the UK, Melissa Smith, who's coping with myalgic encephalitis. Melissa Smith was a former events coordinator at a conference and events venue. Excuse me. She planned weddings and more. And she thought that that was going to be her career because she's been doing that since she was at school until she got sick with what is commonly known as ME. But thank goodness for her dog and the people around her and inspiration. She is now owner and director at Paws in Earnest, and we will hear more about that in a short while. She now lives with her husband Sam. She loves to spend time with her family and do gardening. She grew up in Essex with two sisters, eight nephews, and nieces. Yes, that's a big family, don't you think so? She's a confessed workaholic, but she has soon learned that it's very important to have work-life balance. So I am so excited to introduce to you straight from the UK, no one else but our dear Melissa Smith. Hello, Melissa.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's a real pleasure to have you. We are so privileged to have you. I know it's morning there, right? I hope you had a good night's rest. The day is about to
Yeah.
end here. The sun has set, and I am just so privileged to have someone like you on our show. And I'm sure our viewers are going to be so encouraged and inspired to hear your story. First, I'd like to ask some stuff about you, Melissa. You were diagnosed with ME, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So, when did that start? How old were you when you had that diagnosis?
So I got diagnosed in the summer of 2020. So obviously when COVID
Oh.
and everything like that was happening. But I believe that I'd been suffering very mildly for quite a long time before
Mm.
that. But I was able to work full time and everything like that before then. But it was the summer of 2020 when it really just went downhill and I had a big crash with that.
So what was it? What was the big crash? So, how did you see a doctor? Did you have to see a doctor? What was the symptom? What gave? How did you know
Yeah,
you
so
were not normal? I mean not normal, but how did you know that you were probably undergoing something?
Yeah, so I mean, for years before I had my diagnosis, I'd had different symptoms, ranging from obviously fatigue, eye pain, all the way through to like stomach issues and stuff like that as well. But
Mm.
when it really happened, and I had a real big dip, and I was like, okay, something's really not right. I actually believe that it happened ironically because of COVID. So
Oh, okay.
not that I'd caught COVID or anything like that, but I think over the time when the UK was in lockdown, There was a lot of people put on furlough, so there was a lot of teams within the company that were put on furlough, so they weren't working, and I was picking up. I wasn't put on furlough, so I was picking up quite a lot of slack from other people's jobs. Myself and my husband decided to all of a sudden do exercise because we were in lockdown, and what else was there to do?
Yes,
So
yes.
we were just really, really busy and making the most of lockdown, and whether it be working, exercising. I had my niece come and live with me for 3 months, so it was a really, really manic time in terms of there was a lot of pressure on my body. And then
Mm-hmm.
there was one day where I went into work and I had show rounds back to back at the venue, and yeah, didn't even get to eat lunch. It was just constant from the beginning to the end.
Mm-mm.
And then that night I was going out with a friend for dinner, so I hadn't
Mm-mm.
given myself any time. I think everyone has experienced that at some point where you've just gone, I've put too much in here. I haven't even given
Right,
myself
right, yes.
time to rest. And yeah, and that night I was driving home and I started to get a stutter and couldn't get my words out, couldn't form a sentence. And overnight, I ended up, well, I couldn't phone the doctor because I couldn't speak. My speech was so bad with a stutter. But the doctors thought that I'd had a stroke or something along those lines because it was very much my symptoms. I had weakness in my legs, stutter in my voice, just very, very fatigued and not very well at all. So yeah, so that's kind of when I ended up bedbound pretty much. I wasn't able to do
Mm-hmm.
anything. So it was a big going from being able to do a whole day's work to not being able
Yes.
to do anything. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and then I was signed off sick from work from that day onwards, really.
Wow. Yeah, that must have been something for you, for someone who's been very busy doing events. I can very much relate with you, Melissa, because I used to do face-to-face events before the pandemic, and I still do that now, but the face-to-face events have not really picked up. So I shifted to doing digital online events,
Yeah.
webinars, webinars, seminars, and all that, and a few events, but it's really very taxing on the body to do what we do, what you've been doing. And so you must have been scared. How did you feel like when you suddenly started feeling all that? Were you worried? What did your husband say?
Yeah, I mean, we had no idea really. Oh, Marty,
Oh, he's
we had
very
no idea
cute.
what
You
was
have to show
going
him to
on.
us.
Yeah, he's just
Yeah,
left the door because I think Sam's just literally running out to the shop, so he'll be back soon.
okay, all right.
But yeah, I think we had no idea what was going on.
Mm,
In all honesty, I thought I was dying. I was in so much pain, and I was just
yeah.
like, I don't know
You
what's
were
going
in
to
pain.
happen.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
I think, ironically, the early days were when I kind of kidded myself a lot. I was like, okay, this is just a short-term illness. I'm going to recover really
Oh,
quickly, and
oh, all
kind
right.
of I remember having calls with my work and being like, yeah, like I'll be able to come back into work next week, or I'll be able to be back in
Mm,
like within a month
mm.
or so. And I think in the early days, I mean, the first day I was like, I'm in so much pain, I must be dying, something must be really bad.
Oh
But I
no,
think
yes.
in the weeks after that, I was then very much kidding myself that I would be back to normal and
You thought
absolutely
so.
fine.
Yes,
It was
yes.
only when it went on for, well, it just continued and actually got worse, that
Mm,
I was like, okay, yeah, this isn't going away, and it's going to be a big lifestyle change, which is really scary.
yeah. So, it's really a privilege that you're taking time out to do this and inspire people that are listening live and also those that are going to be watching this on the replay. So I have a picture here of you. Yeah, and you had your dog Marty. Tell
Yeah.
us about this moment.
Yeah, so I mean, this is one moment out of thousands that happen constantly. My mum had come over. I think this was the week after I got married. So back in October, I believe. I might be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I just Yeah, he provides so much comfort, and I'd actually fallen asleep on the sofa without even realizing. And my mum took the photo.
Yes.
It's not a stage photo. It's not that at all. I'd literally
Yes,
Marty
yes.
was on my lap. I'd had cuddles, and just all of a sudden fell asleep with him in my arms. And
Mm,
yeah, I think I just yeah, it's hard when I have people over. I think when I don't have people
yes.
over, I force myself to rest and go and sleep and stuff like that. Whereas
Yes.
when people are over, things like that more often do happen because I can't tell them I'm better now,
To
but back
go.
then I
Yes.
couldn't tell them enough now. I need to sleep.
Yes.
So I
Time
just
for you to
literally,
go
I
home.
think I was midway through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was midway through conversation, and next thing I know, mum's taking a picture of me. So
Oh, all right.
yeah.
So, so you mean to say like, you are okay for a few minutes and then suddenly your energy just drops?
I
Is it
mean, back
something like
then,
that?
yes. Yeah, back then, yes. So there's something called the boom and bust with ME, which is where you can basically use up other days' energy in a weird
Oh,
way. So, like, if you can almost ignore the symptoms that you're getting tired, and if you do
yes.
that to that point, then it comes a point where you just bust, which is you just crash. You just all of a sudden all your energy is gone. Whereas nowadays I have what's called pacing, and I use that a lot.
Pacing.
So I never get to that point of overdoing it to the point where I am just that's it, I'm gone.
Right.
Because I try and keep myself on more of a steady, even playing field.
Right.
Because otherwise, it's like, oh, I've got energy, I'm going to do everything I possibly can, and then all of a
And
sudden,
then
it's a really
boom.
bad
Right.
crash. And
Wow.
generally, it's I mean, one day or one activity has the
Yes.
consequence of three times worse is in general when you're overdoing it. So you might do
Mm-mm.
an hour of strenuous activity, but in reality, that's actually 3 hours worth of strenuous activity in kind of your energies level.
Oh, Melissa, I feel for you. I'd like to hug you and give you some comfort. I hope I'm not tiring you
Oh,
right now. Yeah,
no. So I mean
you're
that
fine.
those stages were kind of I really put into place a lot of coping techniques from kind of October, November time
Yeah. All
last
right.
year.
Yes.
And my health has been gradually getting better from
Good
then. I
for
mean, I will
you.
never fully recover, but I know now how to manage it. So yeah, so
Right.
I'm fine.
Yeah, thank God. So now you're very aware of your body. You listen to your body. You listen to the signs because that's one thing with workaholic people, especially when you're in the events industry. The stress level is so high and you really put more than 100%, for that
Yeah,
specific project or time. And then that's it. You just really get so tired after. You don't, me, I'm also a workaholic person, and usually I don't feel so tired until it's done. And then you realize, like, oh, wow, I am so tired because the
yeah, yeah.
adrenaline just keeps you going. So, oh, thanks for sharing about your ME. And maybe there might be some people there that are experiencing that kind of tiredness, so better start pacing your work. Now you got a lot of help from friends. You have
Yeah.
this is your family and you so when you got ME, that was only 2020, so it's been less than 3 years, right? And
Yeah.
everything seemed normal except for the occasional feeling more tired than usual, as you said, and then it gradually became worse and worse. But like the pictures that you have here, this were what? What's this before you had your diagnosis?
Yeah, this
Majority
is
of
all
them?
before my diagnosis, and all of these are. I mean, every single picture here, I wouldn't be able to do any of that now. Yeah, they were all quite strenuous days. You've got me and my mum at the Shard, us going away on
Mhm.
holiday and having a full week in Ibiza and stuff like that. Like, I
Yes,
wouldn't be
yes.
able to do that now. That was all very much before my diagnosis.
Mm-mm. And this, you have a picture here on the upper left. This was a
Mhm.
recognition. Can you share with the audience what this is about?
Yeah,
The,
so
there
in my
was you're
previous job
holding up.
in
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's a an award that I actually won, that I was nominated by my previous company. So it was the Young Employee of the Year award. Yeah, for kind of how much I'd brought to the company and how much I'd done, and yeah, it was kind of for the a bit like the top to watch, if that makes sense. So like they anticipated that I was going places within the industry as such, which is why I got nominated. Ironically,
Wow.
I wasn't, but
Yes, yes. All right. But one thing good came out of all this, right? Wait, before I go into that, so did you have Marty, your dog, before you got sick?
no. So we knew we wanted to get a dog before I'd got sick. And
Yes.
it was kind of waiting for that right moment. And COVID hit, and my husband was likely to be working from home. Um,
Mm-mm.
so it was, yeah, so it was, we'd looked up breeders and stuff like that and kind of where we wanted to get him from. We were very keen to get the right breed for us because we are quite busy people. Well, we were quite busy people, and we wanted to make sure that it was right for us. So yeah, so I'd been put on the waiting list for him before I got
Oh,
sick. And then kind of we'd been told that his litter had been, here he comes.
oh,
Sorry,
how
buddy.
cute! Can you hold him up? Is it too heavy to hold
Oh,
up? Oh, that's
buddy.
really. Let me put you on a bigger screen. There you go.
Is
Oh,
he
how
teddy?
adorable. What's his breed? What do you
He's a
call
cocker
Marty?
spaniel, so it's a
Oh,
show cocker
yes, yes.
spaniel. Yeah, so yeah, so we were on the waiting list for him. In the August, we'd been told that his litter had been born, um, and it was kind of a bit of a decision. We were a bit like, do we still get him, considering we know now that all of a sudden I'd
Mm-hmm.
had my crash, and it was a bit
Yes.
like, oh, do we, don't we? And we ended up deciding to, because we knew that Sam would be working from home and I would also likely now be working from home at least 1 or 2 days a week because of my health.
Mm-hmm.
Initially was the plan, and now it's the opposite way round. He's in work and I'm at home all the time.
Okay. All right. So, I have some pictures of Marty here. There you go. He's
Yeah.
so cute. Yeah, and on the bottom right, he's right on your shoulder while you're working.
Yeah.
How are you
Yeah.
able to do that?
He's always there. If he can get, I swear, if he could literally like be skin to skin, he would. Like he just wants to be as close to us as possible. He's so needy. Yeah,
Yes.
he just constantly wants to be around. I mean, right now he wants to be playing with his toy, but he also wants to be right next to me. um,
Okay. So he
yeah,
wants to be
so he's
beside you
always,
all the time. Do you
yeah,
walk
always
him
there.
yourself? I saw some pictures. Yeah, you go out with him, right? Yes.
Yeah, so not so much anymore now that I'm doing my pacing. Before I would, and I'd kind of really push myself to the point where I'd be like, right, I'm going on a walk, and then I'd get home and I'd just all of a sudden
Yes.
crash because
The
it was too
plunge.
much.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I can probably do about a 10-15 minute walk now, just around the block, but my husband walks him most days himself for a
Mm-hmm.
longer walk. Yeah, so I'm more do enrichment with him at home and playing with him and that kind of thing. um
Mm-mm.
yeah, I'm building up to the walking. I'm doing, I'd say I probably do about one a week, but it's just one of his shorter ones rather than anything else.
Oh, that's nice. So, of course, we cannot let the day or the episode pass without showing pictures of your beloved.
Yeah.
So, look at you. And when did you get married? When was this?
Yeah, so it was all a bit of a whirlwind for no other reason than, well, I'd planned weddings in the past, and I kind of was just like, do you know what? We got married in 6 months. So he proposed to me in the March, and we got married on the 4th of October last year. So we've just had our first wedding anniversary. Um,
Oh,
yeah, and I planned it
yes.
all. It was very stressful planning that alongside having ME. That was, yeah, very, very tough. And actually, October last year was the worst my health had been. It was very, very bad, and that is massively because of how much energy I'd used on planning the wedding and having
Of
the wedding,
course.
and it caused a it caused a second crash, which made my health even worse, which
Mm,
was scary.
yeah. Yeah, because you plan weddings for other people. How can you not plan your own, right? Excuse me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd
definitely.
like
And
to
I
show
planned it
that
all from
again.
scratch. Yeah,
Yes, Sam
yeah,
Smith. Yeah. You know, like
yeah,
hearing there's a Sam Smith singer is obviously not
yeah, yeah.
him. He's such a good-looking gentleman. So
Oh, thank
so nice to
you.
see the both of you. And um happy anniversary. I know I greeted you weeks ago, so happy anniversary, Melissa. So
Thank
Melissa,
you.
you're welcome. You had other pets. I have a picture of this, and yeah, this is your pet hamster. You don't
Yeah.
have this pet anymore, right? You don't
No,
have him or
no,
her. Is it
unfortunately
a
not.
him or yeah?
Him, Jensen.
Jensen, yes, yes. And when was this? When you were taking care of your hamster? Was
Oh,
it
I
like
think so.
long ago, like 5 years ago or
Yeah, quite a
something
while
like that? Yeah.
ago. Yeah,
So
so
you're
I
still
think he passed
single, yeah.
away. Yeah,
Mm.
no, Sam. I was with Sam. I've been with Sam for 10 years, so a
Oh,
very
all
long
right.
time.
Yes, yes.
um, yeah, so I think that was he passed away in 2019, I believe it was, or
Oh, a lot has
yeah,
happened to you.
2019, 2018. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, maybe it was before that, but we just moved into this house, and he kind of was with us for a couple of months in this house. Before that, he was with us in flats. Um, yeah, and it was that was really, really hard. I actually got him at a different stage of my life, a different health crisis. It sounds like
Yes.
I've had a lot of different things, but yeah, I had a
Yes.
really bad mental health breakdown when we first got Jensen, and we got him to try and make sure I have routine and kind of have something to
Mm-mm.
care for as such. And we were in flats, so we couldn't have a dog or anything like that. So we
Mm-mm.
ended up getting him, and yeah, he was a massive help for it.
So it really matters to you that, you keep like I'm trying to imagine what kind of comfort Marty gives you. Like he probably like does he relax you? Just, having someone to cuddle is soothing, right? I suppose.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think without meaning to, I think he definitely picks up on my energy and that kind of thing as well. So he comes to me if I'm feeling a bit low or anything like that as well. Um, but also just giving me someone to talk to during the day and kind of
Mm,
that interaction because I can't really leave the house very much. I'm home
mm-mm.
alone a lot. And yeah, having something and someone and I suppose purpose to my life as well, especially when I was really ill, being able to have something to care for was amazing, definitely.
Yeah, that's good to know. So, all right. Now, I also understand from you that you have a business now. It's called Paws in Earnest, and I'm gonna show the
Yeah,
website right here. Yeah, this is your web page, and I'm gonna
yeah,
try to put on the there. That's the website, right? So
yeah.
Paws in Earnest. And how did you come up with this? How did your business start?
Yeah. Well, so obviously I was signed off sick from work, which was really, really hard. And as I said, I'm a workaholic. So for me,
Yes.
sitting there, even whether it's from bed or whatever it was really, really tough and not doing anything. So I ended up one day going out into the garage and making my dog Marty, a lead holder from old scaffolding board and that kind of thing. And I got wire and wired his name on the lead holder. Um, And yeah, so I was really proud of that. And then I was speaking to one of my friends who has been incredible through the whole business process. And I was like, oh, I really enjoyed doing that. I've managed to find a laser engraver online that I could personalize lead holders, and Sam is pretty good at woodwork, so he can help me make them. And she kind of pushed me to make that jump. And back then it was kind of like a hobby as such. It was something to give me
Mm-mm.
purpose during being signed off work sick. And then yeah, and then I was made redundant in the February, I think it was, of 2021. And that's when I was like, right, let's make this, like, yeah, let's go with it, run with it. And that
Turned
kind
it
of went from
into a
there, really.
business. And I have
Yeah.
pictures of your old products. Yeah, these were some
Yeah.
samples. These are what you used to, these are the products that you started with, right? You sold
Yes.
them
Yeah.
online, you sold them through your website. Yes,
Yeah.
and now currently you have these products, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
so we
so
we we started off doing more the wooden products and personalized products, and then we ended up actually inventing a new product called the Stopple, which is the one second in from the top row on the left and the one furthest on the right on the top row. And
mm-hmm.
we ended up inventing that, and that kind of took off very quickly. So as time's gone on, we've progressed more into the enrichment side of things as well as the personalized products.
Okay. So the creativity comes from you,
Yeah, well, me and my husband,
the design,
I
yes.
normally, yeah, I'll kind of think of an idea, he'll think of an idea, and then I with the stopple, I wanted to do enrichment for Marty because I couldn't get out and walk him. But I don't know whether you know, but like stuffing a Kong and then all of like the food coming out the bottom and making loads of mess, I didn't have the energy to then clean up the kitchen afterwards. So I was
Yes.
like, I need something that's going to stand it up and also stop the food from coming out, so I don't have to spend even more energy on cleaning up. So
Cleaning up.
I literally drew something on a piece of paper for my husband to make himself. And yeah, and he did, and it wasn't meant to even go on the website. It was just a let's chuck it on the website and see how it does. But it was being made for me, really. So yeah, and it went a bit crazy.
It clicked.
Yeah,
Very brilliant idea. You know, sometimes when the need is there, you get what do you call that? You get inspired, you know,
yeah,
you dig into your creativity and see what it's turned out to be. And I'm sure that a lot more ideas will be put into actual products later on. So I'm
yeah.
excited for that, and I'm going to be visiting your website every now and then. But however, you only serve the UK, right? Are you able to ship
No, we
in
ship
other
worldwide.
countries?
Yeah,
Oh, you do. Wow. Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
that's
we
so
ship worldwide.
nice.
We've also got some stockists worldwide as well. So we've got stores all over the world that stock our
Oh,
products as well.
wow,
So
that's big.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. So who would have thought? So how I am just curious before I ask you this question. This one was, tell me about this. When was this and what's this? It looks like you're holding up another recognition here.
Yeah,
Or
so
yeah, what award is this?
this was in October. So this is an award for since I've been ill and kind of starting up the business and stuff like that. So I'm part of a small business network that kind of provides support and that kind of thing. And I actually got nominated. I think the awards title was Against All Odds. So it was talking
Wow.
about how no matter what I've been through, I was still able to create the business that I have today. And yeah, it was an honor to be able to have that award, especially. Yeah, made me feel like I had that purpose again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's really so inspiring, Melissa. Now, I'd like to ask you, if you were going to compare your life before and what you have now, I would like to ask you, I'm just really curious, where do you find more fulfillment? From the heart. Where do you find more
Yeah,
fulfillment? Have you ever thought
I
of
have.
that?
I have and I haven't. I mean, there are days where I still really miss the events world and that fast-paced adrenaline kind of thing.
Mm-mm.
Um, but I think for then it was always about when I get this or when I get there, I'll be happy. Whereas now it's very
Mm-mm.
much living in the moment, and there's fulfillment in a different way in terms of in the little everyday rather than kind of the massive big things that have happened and the really big exciting, as you said before, the adrenaline side of things. So I
Mm-mm.
would say that it's a very different type of adrenaline, of fulfillment between
Fulfillment,
the
right,
two.
right.
Yeah, I would say I have a lot more little happy moments now with how I am
Yes,
now.
yes. And it gives you more time to really look into yourself and appreciate the things around you because like if I were to take from what you said, oftentimes we are dealt, we are thrown curved balls, and sometimes unless those things happen, we don't really get to think
Yeah.
beyond the things that are going on. We get so preoccupied, with what we think are big and important things. So
Yeah, and I
I'm
suppose
just, yeah.
everyone kind of, sorry, I was going to say, I suppose
Go
everyone
ahead.
kind of
Yeah.
experienced how I feel quite regularly on a mass scale when lockdown happened, because you kind of felt like all of a sudden when you're allowed to go out or you're allowed to see family and those kind of things, you felt so much more appreciative of being able to do those things, and kind of think back to that time where you were like, I'm so excited just to go to the supermarket, it's my day out, and those kind of
Yes.
things. And that's the type of fulfillment I get now on a very regular basis, because for me, even being able to go out on a walk and walk the dog, or go and visit family, I feel that every time I do those things, because I'm like, I'm so lucky to be able to do this, because this time a year ago I was in bed and wasn't able to even like do anything or get out of bed. So yeah, you definitely feel that fulfillment every single day.
You're so blessed because you've been allowed to uh, go over, I mean, conquer more or less, like conquer that big hurdle, and it's open doors for you. Who knows? Who knows what other big good things will come, right? From
Yeah,
from where you are now, from the business you have now. So, Melissa, it's been so much fun talking to you, and I got to know about you and the condition that you have, and I really sincerely appreciate you. I'm so inspired with your
thank
story. I
you.
am so inspired that here you are, like many people, when things like that would happen, they choose to just be, not to be grateful and not to be happy and not to look beyond the current challenge. But here you are, just enjoying life and enjoying your husband, enjoying your dog, enjoying your family, and now enjoying your business. And you're doing this worldwide. So I am very impressed, and I am so
Thank
thankful and
you.
grateful that you obliged to join me here in our broadcast. So thank you so much for that. Melissa, I'd like to
Thank
ask
you.
if it's before I let you go, I just like to there's some comments here. Oh wow, yeah. So here, like okay. Uh who's that? Oh, I don't know. Oh, what's that? Oh, yeah, that's sorry for that. Yeah, Marty is
That's
adorable.
adorable.
Oh,
Thank
Joyce
you.
Miller. Joyce Miller is from the US. She was one of my guests. She's an
uh,
author. She's a book author and she has dogs. So, yeah, thank you, Joyce, for joining us. Really appreciate,
Thank
really
you. Are
appreciate
you
your
adorable,
your
Marty?
your presence. Yes. Joyce is also she has a very beautiful story, and you can also she has her books. I really also had so much fun talking to her, and she dances with dogs. She used to dance with dogs in competition, I think. Yeah. So thank you,
Ah,
Joyce.
I think I've seen.
Appreciate
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, you saw that? Yeah.
I've got that on my
Okay.
watch list, I think. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And sorry for those comments. Oh,
We
but
always get those
called you
kind of
my
things, don't
sister.
we?
Yeah. Yeah, called
Yeah.
you my sister. So anyway, so Melissa, can you just inspire our audience with some kind of encouragement? Like what would you like to say to young viewers or those that are struggling with a physical challenge? How are you able to get over that? What was your frame of mind? Can you share that with us and just leave some word of encouragement to our viewers?
Yeah. Oh, Marty just
Oh,
ran off. Um, I think someone's just posted something through the door. Oh, a minute. I'll mute myself.
that's fine. That's fine. That's okay. Let him bark. That's no problem.
Sam's coming down.
It's okay.
um, there we go. It's gone out now.
That's fine. That's
Yeah,
fine. I like moments
I love
like
that
that on
question.
the show. Makes it very real and very
Yeah,
alive. Yeah. So,
definitely, definitely.
give it us, leave us with something, something that people can remember, or like probably like what was it really that made you say, I'm gonna do this, or this is not the end, you know. Walk us through
I
that.
think,
Share it with us.
yeah, I think it's breaking it down. Like anything, any big problem that's happened can feel very big and daunting when you look at it as the impact of, if I'd have gone, okay, I'm probably going to be ill for the rest of my life, whether that means I have
Mm,
symptoms or not, I'm always going to have to be careful. That's very, very scary, and that's a very big problem. Whereas with the help of my family and friends, and it hasn't been easy, I've been able to kind of break that down into little things of, okay, this month I'm focusing on what I can change that might make my symptoms 1% better. And that's my aim first.
mm.
Not to get 100%
Okay.
better, to get 1% better. And
Yeah.
it's that saying of baby steps rather than trying to
Mm-mm.
run before you can walk. And I think find happiness in every day. I mean, there's some times where I'm like, you know what, the only thing that's happy today is the fact that I had a cup of coffee in the morning. Um, and it's just really trying to reflect on that at the end of each day, because there are days where it will be really, really tough. But I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason, no matter how horrible it feels in that moment, or yeah, everything happens for a reason. And you can work through it, but don't try and do it alone. Like, that's the
Mm,
mistake that
yes.
so many people make. They think they can't talk to other people. But sometimes it's easier to talk to a stranger, I find. Yeah, I
Mm.
definitely found that through my social media, through Instagram, having that account with Marty, being able to talk on there so openly, because it wasn't family and friends, it wasn't people that had that emotion behind them, it was people
Mm.
that are going through the same as me.
Mm. Okay. So, wow, that's a lot. It's really very wise of you to be. Step one is breakdown, right? Breakdown
Yeah,
moments,
baby
break down the
steps.
challenge, baby steps, right? Bye, Marty. Hi, Marty. So lovable. Yeah. So break down to baby steps, and yeah, it's some. You're so right when you look at trying to get your symptoms gone 100%. It becomes like uh, really difficult. So thank you for joining again. I cannot thank you enough. I am so glad. I am so privileged that you joined us. I know you're very busy also, and I'm going to be seeing you in a bit. So I really appreciate you, Melissa, and I'll touch
Thank
base with you.
you.
I'll keep in touch. So stay at the
Yeah.
backstage for a bit as I close and wrap up the show. Thank you, friends. That was Oops, there. I'm gonna put you in the backstage now. All right. So thank you so much again, Melissa, for joining us. I am so happy to have heard your story and to understand straight from you what it takes to cope with ME. And, to you, our audience that might be experiencing some challenges, they may be physical or otherwise, what I gathered from Melissa today is not to be scared, not to be overwhelmed by the challenge that faces you. What's important is to try to set your sights ahead and to take things one step at a time, baby steps. And if there's one thing I'd like to share personally, also again, when we go through tough times like that, like what she does, like what she goes through, I always try to tell people, I always try to remember that these things are easier to handle when we anchor ourselves on someone. And for me personally, that happens to be my Savior and Lord, Jesus Christ. When I hang on to Him and when I get Him on my side, when I depend on Him, the challenges I face become so much more easier to handle. So if Melissa can do that, I'm sure that with proper perspective and just a little more push and faith, trust in God and trust in yourself, trust that the best is yet to come, you will be able to overcome whatever challenge you're going through. And who knows what good can happen out of your situation. Just as Melissa said, there's always a reason for things to happen in life. So, with that, I'd like to say again, thank you for joining us. This is Tita Me. I'm just so happy to have spent this afternoon with you. I'll see you again next Saturday. Bye bye.